Hello race fans, Racing 393 here for a video of my weekly 360 sprint car series. We're at Eldora Speedway in Ohio. It's a half mile, used to be 3/8 of a mile from my understanding, but it went over to half mile to kind of meet with the United States Auto Club regulations, which well, if you don't know, we all know that as USAC. It's a track which actually still covers a lot of some big events in the World of Outlaw series. They also race, as you can see there, NASCAR, which are the trucks. The trucks actually go around there on the dirt, which must be spectacular. I always wondered what they actually change with the trucks, because clearly they're a tarmac or paved oval racing, and then they're going to go over to some dirt, which is interesting to say the least. Knowing from, you know, in the UK we have our own Brisker Formula 1 stock cars racing on tarmac and shale. This one's majority of dirt tracks in America are clay. I kind of would interesting sort of know the property differences between shale and clay. Maybe they're the same, just different wording. I don't know. But I know for a fact that in the UK that there are drivers who have dual cars, so they race on tarmac or dirt. But majority of them tend to run one for one and one for another. There's two cars. I'm not saying that the NASCAR trucks wouldn't have a separate car for dirt, but it seems to be an awful lot of money and expense for one race a year, which I think it is. Anyhow, yeah, so interestingly, I just put on here, it's just something that, just before we go into any further, because we're going to do some practice laps in iRacing. So I was going to look at tickets. Surprisingly, now if we come down to what effectively is their big event, one of the big events, the Kings Royale, $29 to get in. I mean, what's that? 25 quid? £22? Is it 1.4? Yeah, about £22, something like that. Which is reasonably cheap, considering you're going to be there for the. I mean, this might be more here. Actually, it's gone more. Just looking at this. Oh, there we go. Look, let's just answer my question. So for July, that's this year. We've got the 36th annual showing of this event. Now, is that going to be? Yeah, they run it on Saturday night still, so yeah, the prices do go up. $39 to get in, and reserve seats for $44. Even though, considering this sort of the professionalism of that, it's what I would say above Brisker Formula 1 stock cars. It's got very similar engineering behind it. You know, a top flight Brisker Formula 1 stock car, 40 grand. Second hand, how I wouldn't like to guess how much these are actually. It must be more than that. So, but I've been, from what I remember, what I've been when I went to Volusia, it felt very much stock car related from my point of view, from the UK scene. But when you sort of look at it, there's definitely more money involved in World of Outlaws as a whole. Well, there has to be, because they've got purses of up to $1 million for winning, and I don't know what the winners get for the main race in the Brisker Formula 1. I kind of got an inkling it's somewhere around a couple of £1,000. I don't know for sure. But yeah, so $39 to get into a big event. I'm going to a big event this weekend. We have over here like a UK stock car event, if you like, go for 2 days, but I'm only going for 1 day, and that's nearly 50 quid, I think, or about 40 quid. So it's probably about $70. So I don't know. It's just it's interesting to see the difference between, you know, a big event in the States to what I'm just comparing to what we get over here. So as I ramble on, we're at Eldora Speedway. As you can see, I've got a little bit of blurbish down here, which, you know, might be worth having a little look through. Interesting, I read here what the owner of it now is. I don't know if it's now, but in 2004, NASCAR driver Tony Stewart, well, ex NASCAR driver, I think now, Tony Stewart bought this in 2004. And to the best of my knowledge, I know there was an incident a few years back with Tony in a sprint car. Don't know if I haven't looked into the sort of details of that, I must admit, but as to the best of my knowledge, still owns it. But yeah, it's half a mile. What I've done on this one is the setup is very close to Knoxville, because it's a wide open track. As I get myself comfortable. Right, so let's get this. So I'm only doing a bit of practice. So we're going to take the sprint car around her again. I've only done a few laps. I've not done as much prep actually as I normally would. This is going to be my last video for a couple of weeks because I'm going away. I'll miss the next 2 rounds. You can drop 4 rounds in this series, so that's not a problem for me. And I've not done as much fiddling about like I usually would. I've not had time. So we'll give this a little bit of a test. And I'll probably do about 20 minutes testing, maybe no more than half an hour, while I kind of go through it. I've got while I go through my settings, I've got a qualification setup and a race setup. The race setup isn't quite done properly yet, but the quali setup is just a tweak from Knoxville, and the race setup was Knoxville, but it doesn't really work. I don't know why it does that. It must be something I'm doing, because when I get my qualification set up, it's really, really good, and as soon as you put fuel in, it completely changes the car. I think I might have heard in one of my videos, more weight, more grip, effectively. Right. So welcome to Eldora Speedway. As you can see, a nice wide sweeping track. Very much like it's a flat out oval, as you can see. Well, I don't know if you can't really see it, but it is a flat out oval all the way around. You have to kind of gain some grip from the rear wheels by like easing off the gas. It is tighter than Knoxville, so there's a slightly different race or technique with the throttle. So we're going to take. You can see that I've got the Eldora 360 race setup. So we're going to give that a go. Last time I came round here, you can see a 14.0. I'm pretty sure, to be honest, I need to get into the 13s round here. But we'll give it a couple of goes and see how we go. So I'm just going to set me there we go. Never quite sets my seated position where I want it. Right, so first time out the pits, take it slow around the lap initially. So you can see, you know, sort of kind of middle of the track is going to be kind of where you need to be at. It's very wide, as you can see, there's lots of room. I tend to sort of, for qualification, take a late apex. So you come off the corners aiming at the starter. I'm not sure if that's the right way around or not, but we'll give it a go. So it's very much what I can see there is that when I'm coming off the bends, it's kind of
fire back up, get back into the fray.
It's sending me straight on out the corners. So as you can see here, we kind of you can just see how much room there is actually. It's surprising, and what tends to happen is that the quickest way around an oval track it's different with sprint cars, is you would think it's the inside line, and I think as the crow flies it's got to be quicker in some ways because it's a less distance to travel. The only thing is, with the way you drive these cars, as you can see, incidentally, my car straining out there, and I kind of use the berm up here to come down. I'm awfully close to this wall, far too close sometimes, which I was actually touching the wall there. I don't know whether it's to do lines, which I found out of the other oval tracks. It's actually coming around the corners, and it's coming out of the corners on a different angle, so that when you come off the straight, you kind of already kind of setting the car up for the entrance of the next bend. So they are counted as 4 turns, and it's all about the exit. From what I can gather, the entry is obviously important, I know, but it's about the exit of this bend, how the next one goes. VR was not really comfortable. I don't know what's going on. So you can see I sort of coming out. I use the berm on the outside to try and turn the car in, but I think that what happens is it kind of snaps the car in too much, and I do get awfully close to this, and it is firing the car in. I do need some different adjustment here, and I know a lot of adjustment on these cars is to do tyre pressures and stagger. So we can go up here. Now, when I go onto here, difference in the circumference, more stagger from right to left, more oversteer on throttle, corner exit, and more understeer off throttle, corner entry. So my understanding is the more stagger, the more oversteer on throttle when you're powering, which makes sense. So maybe, just maybe, we'll come back a bit. We'll try that. So reduce the stagger. I'm not going to change any of this just yet. See the top wing position, fore and aft. The top wing, 0 is fully forward, negative moves the wing back to tighten up the balance. So to move the wing back, make it tighter. When you make a car tighter, because you've got loose, so loose is drift, power slide, and tight is push, I think. So that gives it more push. So we could actually come back a bit, less push. I'm hoping that will work on the corners. So we're done. And my quickest lap time, as we look there, was a low 14. Consistent here, look, 5s, which is not too bad. So we'll give it another go. So here we go. This is basically my process of getting my car set up. I know if I'm wrong in some of my explanations, then I apologise. I did hit the wall then.
Last lap was at 14.8. You're now 0.5 off your best.
No.
That lap time was 14.7. That puts you 0.3 off your best. That was a 14.5. You're currently 0.1 off your best.
So you can see the car is less likely to push. So that was better, but it doesn't seem to be as quick. So yeah, I've done a bit of change there. It was a bit stuttering there for the frames, but yeah, it's definitely a different car to drive. It's not as less steering movement, so it is more stable. I don't think it's as quick. Now, it might be my interpretation of what I'm doing. If we look here, I did a 14.3 there. You can see these sort of. It probably wasn't as quick, which is ironic. So leave it alone, shouldn't I? Or it is just me. You know, do some of these settings actually make a difference? One thing I'm going to try and do is a couple of things here. Is I'm going to come off that little one. I can't change that. Put a little more in there, so it's more degrees. That will give you more downforce and more grip, I would think. The other important thing here is you can do a lot with this. So let's try. So it doesn't rev as high, but gets more speed. Maybe stay a bit higher on the corners. I haven't messed around anything else yet, so we'll do that. Nothing's changed here. Okay, where we go? So wing position and gearing now might change the line a little bit on the track. Stay a bit higher.
You're now 0.1, slower than your best.
That wasn't good. It just snaps out of there then. Only got 2 though, so car should be fine.
That was at 14.6. You're now 0.2 off your best. You've just done 14.5. You're currently 0.1, slower than your best. That lap time was 14.4. Less than a tenth off your best. That was at 14.5. That puts you 0.1 off your best. Just done a 16.0. You're currently 1.6 off your best.
Right, so more downforce from that wing. It seemed. Did try a higher line. It did tend to work. It's not nowhere near consistent enough yet. 6s, 5s, and 4s. You need low 14s. It's consistent. So I'm going to try another setup change here. I bet people that know, if they are watching, it's thinking, God, do this, man. Sort this out. It's the speed. I want some speed down the straight. So, tightens it up. It's going to make it more, heading towards the wall, isn't it? And moving it forward. It must loosen it up a little bit, I guess. So let's try that. And the way I see it is that if we go to that one, it's a longer gear. That's my understanding as well, so we'll give that a go. Can never stop myself looking, even though no one's there. So that's definitely slower. So do I need more revs out of this car? So we're going to try the gearing the other way. So go straight into here. Now I know I had it on here to start with, so let's go a few more revs out of it. Let's change it back to here. Let's apply. Done. And test. I'm so glad it's as quick as this to do the changes. There we go, looking again, habit.
best. That lap was at 14.7. You're currently 0.3, slower than your best. Your last lap time was at 14.6. You're now 0.2 off your best. That lap was at 14.6. That puts you 0.2 slower than your best. You've just done a 14.6. You're currently 0.2 off your best.
So still not quick enough.
Restart it, get the clutch in next time.
So, although gearing helped, I think. If you soon rack up the miles, it's on 40 laps already. It doesn't take long. So 575, 756, 665s and 7s. We need 4s and 3s. We've got to get quicker, at least. So, looking at this, we've got the stagger that we can change. We've also got these other things here, which I do mess about with. This one here is normally one that works. It's for cornering speed. Move the right where outward for bigger number, or inboard for small number. More outward is freer. I guess that says there, no? Freer? I don't know. So, I don't know what that means. And this one, this side, left wheel outward, tighter. So you move it out and it tightens the car up. Move it in, makes it loose. So if we go out, which we can't, so can we move, we can go out with that one a little bit. Let's apply. I've been thinking, people saying, what are you doing? Right, give one more go, see what happens.
time was 14.6. That puts you 0.3 off your best. You've just done a 14.6. You're currently 0.2 slower than your best. Well, that was at 14.4. You're now 0.1 off your best. That one was at 14.6. That puts you 0.2 off your best. The lap time was at 14.5. That puts you 0.1 off your best.
So what I found out then is that changing the line, the car was easier to drive on some lines than others. So the sort of the inner line, if you like, seemed better.
Hard luck, Dean. Take your time. Start it back up and get back in the race.
Yeah, so going down sort of towards the inner side of the track in the a tighter line off the banking tended to help, I think. As you can see, I did a 14.4. It's still a bit inconsistent. I need to get like 10 laps all within a couple of tenths. So as you can see, my process, it does take time. It's not something which you can, you can get straight into a stock setup and go around probably quicker than me. I don't suppose you have to do the setups. If I tend to go around in the stock setup and then add fuel for a feature race, the car just for me I can't drive it, so I have to change things. The qualification setup is a lot easier than race setup, so this is what I'm working on at the moment. So that's going to be it for now. That's not a lot really to say about that. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you might have learned something, or maybe if you've noticed I've said something wrong, then let me know. That'd be handy. But I should see you during the week for a couple of races on Eldora Speedway. I keep calling it the wrong name there, so it's Eldora for the next round of the 360 Sprint Car Series. So I hope to see you soon. Thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of your day.